It's August 7, 6:30. The carbon filter needs to be cleaned now often. Uh, this was installed in April. Now it's August. So it lasted about 4 months or less. Initially, I cleaned it once a month, and then it turned out to be once every 2 weeks. Now it's coming down to once every 3 days. So I'm just gonna clean it again. Uh, However, the period probably is coming down to once a day. So doesn't they don't last long. It's too rusty here, the water, and having a different type of filter, it would just get clogged. So I'm just gonna have it replaced. So this thing lasted 4 months. So it's a combination of mud and rust, and I think the rust more, or the mud, it just coats the outer layer, and then of course the rust, and it probably penetrated deep into the core of the carbon, and so now it just gets easily clogged. I mean, I don't know. It's just the way it is. There's no mitigation plan except to buy a new filter. So this is about 1,000 peso. So one should expect uh, to have this replaced once every 4 months, and so that's 1,000. It's worth it. I mean, we have clean water. When we're washing the clothes, it's cleaned. So this is the cost of having clean water. Uh, Around 1,200 peso. So 1,200 peso per 4 months. So that's 3 times a year that you do this. So it's 3,000 per year, something like that. 4,000 per year, about 100 Canadian dollars. I had this cleaned yesterday in the morning. Uh, that's when we mostly use the water, cooking and taking a shower. So these are the built up grit uh, that's clogging the filter. So I'm going to cut it in half later. I want to see how deep into the carbon uh, is the fine grit. One thing I've noticed lately is there's hardly any rust. Maybe the rust are mitigated with the constant use of water. What I've been noticing is fine grit silt now is has replaced the rust. So there's very little rust built up. But I think if the water is settled, it will rust again. Not sure, but I did notice less rust. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing. So I've installed the new filter. The old one is over there, and I'm going to flush the new filter. That's the practice that needs to be done to new filter. There's fine grit carbon built up inside, or fine grit that needs to be flushed out before switching to household use. So I'm just gonna do that. There I'm flushing the carbon. Like I mentioned, it's stressing the system, and really is not the best way. This should be metal. Oh well, soon as I'll do that. Replace them to metal. Like I mentioned before, this design is not the best. It leaks. Now I gotta take it down and reseat the O-ring. It really sucked. It's another one of those frustration that one is has to deal with, because it's a single O-ring, and it over time it tends to flat out. It doesn't seal to the cap. So this O-ring flat out, and it just over time it just prevents total seal, and I have to pry it loose and then invert it. The other side is roundish, so when one gets to that point, one should actually just replace the O-ring to prevent frustration. The other one has another O-ring here, so it's double O-ring. So we won't be subject to leakage, water leakage here on this rim. It would be the other O-ring that would help that. So you don't have to be dealing with leak just because this thing is now worn out and flattened. So when you're buying these, check that it's actually double O-ring, not single O-ring. So this is there's design deficiency. Uh, that's how it is. I mean, this is 20 years old or over. So that's so over time there's design improvement. So it remains leaking. So I have to fiddle around with the O-ring until I make it stop leaking. So yeah, um, it just gets frustrating. It's just the way it is. So what I had to do is twist the rubber so that the flat goes with this, and the bump goes on top. So just twist it 90 degrees, and hopefully this time it will work. Hopefully. Well, it remains leaking. So anyway, I'm just gonna meddle around. I'm just gonna mess around with it until it stops leaking. I mean, that's a lot of water that's leaking out. So that means that the tank will be keep filling up often. So well, I had no choice but to move this O-ring to that, and use that here. I hope this thing will work. Hopefully. The other O-ring is here. This is double O-ring, so this is really what I meant by better design. You have O-ring here and you have O-ring there. So seal with the cap and seal with the side of the cap also. Now it feels like it may not work because, well, I'm gonna try anyway. I mean, this is I'm getting nowhere with flipping the O-ring and just keep leaking. That's why I bought another one of these to replace this. So I bought one of these to replace this guy because my frustration of having to deal with the leak. I don't know if it'll work, but it's worth a try anyway. I'm out of option. That or I wonder if they can. That's a challenge. Store don't sell these here. They don't sell it here. That means O-ring is not available either. So that sucked. Well, try it and see what happens. Well, moving the O-ring from the other one helped. I gotta deal with that leak there. Now, what would it do here? Well, we'll see. We'll soon find out. Okay, that one didn't leak. So, moving moving the O-ring here from here to there, swapping them, uh, help mitigate the leak. Now, over over time, these will stress out and crack. So I have to deal with the stress here. I've been holding off on dealing with the stress. So look like I have to deal with the stress now. But however, hate the word but. Once the new housing arrive or casing, then I'll just deal with the stress here. Like I did with this. So it's hanging on a metal bar. Now I'm gonna take that apart and see what's up with it. I'm just gonna crush it to see the cross section. So I'm just going to use a machete and just crush it there. So this is the cross section of the carbon filter. So these carbon are centered. By centering creates porosity, and so those materials are the fine grit penetrating inside the core. So over time, the fine grit would just replace the space in between the centered parts, and it would clog the thing. So the as soon as the surface is cleaned, and it only lasts a day, and then I have to clean it again. So that's the reason why my frustration, built up frustration, uh, got me to buy a couple of these so that 4 months later I would just simply swap and then procure another one. So there'll be a rolling carbon filter change every 4 months, or dependent on the how much tolerance I have for replacing it once a week or once a day. I got to the point where I'm cleaning it once a day, so that's it. I don't want to go to the point where I'm cleaning it once every I don't know 6 hours. So I think my tolerance level is once a week. Get to that, then change the filter. I can. What I've noticed is progressively clean it once a month, and then it came down to twice a week. I mean, came down to once every 2 weeks, and then once every week, and then once every day. I mean that's normal. That's part of life. Yeah. So that's the reason why it came down to cleaning it once a day. Just that the space in between the center parts are clogged. And as soon as the surface is clogged, then it's just there's no water coming out of the faucet. So yeah, yeah, one should be able to determine tolerance level once a month, once every 2 weeks, once every week, once every day. Good on that. To once every 6 hours, forget it. That's reached the limit of tolerance. Thanks for watching.